Welcome everyone to Schaefer TV. This is Shafe. I'm coming at you with somewhat breaking news. Erik Ten Hag, regardless of the FA Cup final, is heading for the sack. I gotta say, we all kind of saw this coming. All you had to do is read between the lines. But before I go into any detail, if you guys could please subscribe and like the video, really appreciate it. Also leave a comment. I want to know what you guys think about everything as well. So just going into a little bit more detail on this, The Guardian is now reporting. I know that we had a report the other day from Marcio out of Italy, and everybody kind of blew it off, and everybody kind of called him nuts. But here we are a couple days later, and now the Guardian is reporting that Manchester United have decided to sack Erik Ten Hag after the FA Cup final against Manchester City. Ten Hag joined the club 2 years ago and is set to depart after enduring a fraught campaign. I don't need to read all of this, but I will say this. I wish Erik Ten Hag the best. I really do. He's not a bad manager. He doesn't seem like a bad man either. I do think that he was dealt a crappy hand, and I really do wish him well. I'm sure he'll get a job with a pretty, maybe not a big club, but I'm sure he'll get a job with another club, and I'm sure he'll do well. With that being said, Erik Ten Hag had a wonderful first season with United. He won a Carabao Cup trophy. He led United to third on the table after the season before coming in sixth. And then this season, everything just went haywire for him. Injuries, players falling out with the manager, or vice versa, you could say. You know what? Erik Ten Hag didn't really help himself. He really didn't help himself. He was once a manager who said that you can't blame injuries for things that happen in the match, and you can't blame injuries for this or that. And then he went on a couple months later to blame everything on injuries, you know. Now, this is devastating news just a day before the FA Cup final. One might think that The Guardian and some of these news outlets put it out there on purpose so that United could be devastated. But, look, we never really had that big of a chance at the FA Cup final. As it stands, I give us like a 10 to 15% chance to win. I think if you were an objective fan and an objective supporter, I think that you realized that this was coming. Ineos was resetting the deck. They were taking out the trash, so to speak. And the last thing to do in the front office is get your own manager. And, I mean, I know a lot of people, I know Erik Ten Hag himself came out and said this and that about Ineos and everything, but the reality is that this was always going to happen. This was always going to happen. You don't go into a new business venture with the same old people that failed. You get the people that you want, the people that you think that can succeed. Now this leads us to the manager search for United. The four top targets so far that I have heard is Tommy Tuchel, I've heard Graham Potter, I've heard Gareth Southgate, I've heard Roberto De Zerbi, I've heard Kieran McKenna. So we're going to have to see. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. I even heard that Xavi is leaving after the end of the year, so that might be something for consideration as well. But breaking news, the day before the FA Cup final versus City, Erik Ten Hag has been sacked. I don't want to be mean, but it does seem like a long time coming. With that being said, I'm never going to be happy for a manager to lose his job, especially when I do think that he is a good manager. I just think that right now the club was in such a bad position. It would take probably one of the best managers in the world to fix this club. So now that Ineos is in, they're going to try to switch some things up. They already have begun doing that. This is obviously the next step. They're going to get a manager that they want in, and then hopefully they're going to get rid of about 10 to 15 of the players that we have on the team that we all consider dead wood. But, yep, you heard it here on Schaefer TV. Ten Hag is out, but he's not going to be out before the FA Cup final. I believe he's going to manage that match, and then I think he's on his way. So I appreciate you guys watching the video. Again, if you could, like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, guys. Have a wonderful day. I hope you guys are rooting for the Reds tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Enjoy your weekend, guys.